Alright, here's the frame of the pistol. You have the safety system here, and you can see this plate here corresponds with this little roll pin here, and that's how the safety is engaged. You have different variants of the HK, and basically you have different configurations to how this works. Some pistols will have a safe and fire only with no decock. This one happens to have the decock. You saw how that happened. Hammer drops to a safe position and rests. It's not fully forward, it won't touch the firing pin. This is luring you back into your double action trigger pull and everything else. And you got some guts in here. This is a disconnect. And notice that it pushes down the trigger bar as well. But they're independent of each other. Alright, this is your ejector. When the cases come out of the chamber and they're being extracted by the slide's going to make the case crash into this, and it's going to push it out of your ejection port on your slide. Basic function of this pistol is something that, you know, I'm not really going to go into too much detail. It's kind of self-explanatory. Here's your magazine, and there's the magazine catch spring inside there, and there's a roll pin to drift that stuff out. The roll pin is right in there. The shadow is not making this easy to see. Right there. And it's not really critical that I drift that out. It's self-explanatory. This pin comes out, the mag catch is going to come out, there's a little spring inside there, and it goes back together the same way. Pretty simple. Here's the spring for the takedown lever, and again, that one we're just going to leave it in for now. If it does break, they're not too easy to pull out, and if you need to get a new one from HK, it's probably best to just let them do it or have a certified gunsmith mess with it for you, unless you're feeling adventuresome and you want to try your luck with that. I'm leaving it in for now, as well as the sear spring, but we're not there yet. I'll show you that when we get to it. So, for now, to take this apart, our first step is to take out the hammer strut spring, and all that stuff. This little assembly right here at the bottom, you can see the pin going through it, where the lanyard loop is. This is our mainspring housing, more or less, and we're going to take a pin, push out this roll pin, and we're going to depress this to take the tension off it. You'll see there is some play in it. So, we do that now. You don't even need a hammer for this part. It's very simple. This goes right in here. Compress it. Bam. Pin falls right out. And it looks like this. It's kind of fat on the ends, and it's kind of skinny in the middle. So, pop that down, and you can see our mainspring housing block is going to come right out. You see inside there, that's the locking mechanism for these pistols. You have a special key, and you turn that block, and then the gun won't fire. Put that aside. Here comes our mainspring. This is the spring that tensions the hammer. Just dropped it. Go retrieve that real quick. Alright, moving right along. Here's our spring. You can see I work over this tray. I try to keep all my parts in one place. Some guns that you work on, there's some springs that are so small that if you're not careful, they'll go flying and you'll spend a long time trying to find them. Or you'll end up ordering a replacement spring off the internet. We don't want to go through that trouble, so as a precaution to you guys, if you're doing some of these procedures, it's best to work in an area where you're captivating any flying springs. You can make a hood out of cardboard or take them apart inside a plastic bag, so in case they do get launched, you won't lose them entirely. Alright, next step. This is the fun part where things get exciting, because it's all going to come apart real fast and it's going to kind of overwhelm you. If you look inside here, there's a bunch of little parts. Try and get the good lighting so you can see them. Alright, we have this piece here. That's the disconnect. Here's some other thing there. I can't remember what it's called right now. Then you have the sear, and then the catch for the hammer, and the hammer itself. You have this end plate here, and you got this pin that's holding it all together. We're going to push that pin out right now. There goes our little plate there with our safety and our decocker action on it, and you'll see it has a little square cutout at the bottom. this goes all the way on the outside. I'll show you how it comes back together when we go back together. I'll place that down for now. Continue pushing this pin through. Now the pin's all the way through. Here's the pin. It's not a roll pin, it's a solid pin. I'm going to set that down. I'm going to pull my roll pin punch out now, and all these pieces are pretty much going to just fall right out. You look good at your gun, and you can study the relationship of these pieces. I'll show you when they go back together, but that pin holds them all in. So I'm going to take that out. And now, pieces are going to start falling. This is that disconnect piece that was on the other side that I was showing you before. You'll notice it has that square cut out just like this piece did. And basically, there's an axle that goes across, we'll take out next, and they index on that axle. So now that pin is out, I can pull out most of these pieces. This is the, I don't even know what it's called. Alright, all this stuff comes right on out. One of the pieces of the sear has a little pin on it. You can see it in the side profile view. And most of these parts have a little pin, so they all kind of stack. You see how it has the recess on the other side, and the main hole for the roll pin. So we know what all of our individual parts look like as it comes out. I'm going to go ahead now and take out the safety. The safety is going to pull right out. The safety has a flag underneath it that's keeping it in place, and it corresponds with the groove that the ejector is in. So inside there, I'm going to put the roll pin, and it's going to sit right on top. You'll feel it. It's going to sit on that flag, and I'm going to push the flag in. As I push the flag in, it'll give enough clearance for the safety to come completely out. Now safety's out, and now that flag can fall out. I'm going to flip the pistol over. It's going to fall right out of here. There it goes. And this little flag has a spring on it too. There's the spring, and there's that little flag piece. And that flag piece puts tension on the safety system. Now, the safety looks like this. You can see it's got a few different little cutouts in it that correspond with those little square cutouts on these two pieces that I showed you before. This one here, and this one here. Okay, so when it goes back together, they lock in place with the safety and they index on it. But whatever, I'll show you that later. Okay, our safety's out. And now the hammer and the hammer axle can come out. Well, basically, yeah, this is it right here. Alright, take a little punch, and you can kind of fish